Hello everyone, this is Yuvashri, Assistant Professor from the Department of Chemical Engineering at Beltech High Tech Dr. Rangarajan Dr. Shakuntala Engineering College. I am here to give a small lecture on the topic Environment and Ecosystem. Environment. Environment is derived from a French word called environ, which means to encircle or surround. Basically, it is a sum total of all the living and non-living things around us which influences one another. Under the term environment, academically, there are many branches such as environmental science, environmental engineering, environmental studies, and environmental education. Some of the definitions of environment. According to Boring, a person's environment consists of a sum total of the stimulation which he receives from his conception until his death. And according to Douglas and Holland, the term environment is used to describe in the aggregate all the external forces, influences and conditions which affects the life, nature, behavior and the growth, development and maturity of living organisms. The scope of the environment covers four segments which are atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere. Elements of environment. Environment is constituted by the interacting systems of physical, biological and cultural elements interrelated in various ways, individually as well as collectively. Physical elements are nothing but the space, landforms, water bodies, climate, soils, rocks and minerals. They determine the variable character of the human habitat, its opportunities as well as limitations. Biological elements constitutes plants, animals, microorganisms and men constituting the biosphere. Cultural elements such as economic, social and political elements are essentially man-made features. Importance and significance of environmental studies. The environment studies enlighten us about the importance of protection and conservation of our indiscriminate release of pollution into the environment. At present, a great number of environment issues have grown in size and complexity day by day, threatening the survival of mankind on earth. We study about these issues besides and effective suggestions in the environment studies. Environment studies have become significant because of some of the reasons such as environment issues being of international importance, problems cropped in wake of the development, explosive increase in pollution and need for an alternative solution. Now we are moving to the next topic called ecosystem. Ecosystem is an integrated unit consisting of interacting plants and animals whose survival depends upon the maintenance of abiotic, that is physiochemical environment and gradients such as moisture, wind and solar radiation with its commitments of light and heat as well as biotic structures and functions. Aspects of this ecosystem consist structural and functional aspects. The structural aspects are nothing but the description of arrangement, types and number of species and their life histories along with the description of physical features of the environment. The functional aspects of the ecosystem includes flow of energy and the cycling of nutrients. An ecosystem is formed by the interaction of living, that is biotic and non-living abiotic components. Therefore, an structure of an ecosystem comprises the both biotic and abiotic components. The abiotic components or abiotic factors of an ecosystem includes climatic factors such as solar radiation, temperature, wind, rainfall, physical factors such as light, fire, pressure and also chemical factors such as acidity, salinity and availability of organic and inorganic nutrients needed by the plants. The biotic components or biological factors of ecosystem includes all the living organisms such as plants, animals, bacteria and viruses. And here these components according to their energy flow can be classified as autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are nothing but the organisms that produce their own food and heterotrophs are the organisms that consume the other organisms as a food source. This division of ecosystem from an energetic viewpoint consists of three types of organisms: producers, consumers and reducers. Producer. Photosynthetic algae, plants, bacteria are the producers of the ecosystem. All other organisms depend upon them directly or indirectly for food. Consumers. Consumers are herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous animals. They eat the organic matter produced by the other organisms. Herbivores example are deer, elephant, goat. Carnivores examples are snake, lion, tiger, and omnivores example are black bear, mice, rat and human, etc. Reducers, which are also can be called as decomposers. These are nothing but heterotrophic organisms like animals. They are fungi and bacterial that decompose dead organic matter. Trophic levels. Trophic level is nothing but the position occupied by an organism in a food chain according to their feeding behavior, and this relates to the species under food chains and food webs as well. The trophic levels can be analyzed as an energy pyramid as well. And according to the energy pyramid, at the base, at first trophic level, producers are found, and next second trophic level, primary consumers consists, and the third trophic level consists of secondary consumers. The top trophic level consists of tertiary consumers. Actually, there are two basic types of food chains as under the consumer food chain, including the sequence energy flow from producer, herbivore, carnivore and reducer. The second type, the detritus food chain, bypasses the consumers going from producer to reducer. This schematic diagram explains the structure of a food chain and how the energy level flows from one trophic level to another trophic level. Food web. In a food chain, one organism may derive its food from more than one source, and thus it may form a various food chains that are linked together, and that linked together food chain form a complex network, and this complex network is called a food web. Here in this picture, you can find an example of a food web. Clearly here you can see that at each trophic level you can find different type of organisms which are interlinked to another trophic level to the different types of organisms. The next topic is ecological succession. Ecological succession can be explained as in a particular area, one community of species may be replaced by another community. The progressive replacement of one community by this another community till the development of a stable community in a particular area is called ecological succession. Biotic communities are not static. Instead, they change through the time. This change can be understood on several levels. The simplest level is the growth, interaction and death of individual organisms as they pass through their life cycles affected by the cycles of seasons and other natural phenomena. Some other levels of community change act over longer time spans and that account for much larger changes in community composition and structure. These include ecological succession and community evolution. Primary succession. Primary succession is a process of species colonization and replacement in which the environment is initially virtually free of life. In other words, it can be explained as the process starting with base rose or sand dune or river delta or glacial debris, and it ends when climax is reached. Here you can find the example of ecological succession. With the passage of time, at this particular region, various types of communities have been formed and slowly it is established into a stable community. Secondary succession. Secondary succession is the process of change that occurs after an ecosystem is disrupted but not totally obliterated. In this situation, organic matter and some organisms from the original community will remain. Thus, the successional process does not start from the scratch. As a result, secondary succession is more rapid than primary. It is seen in areas burned by fire or cut by farmers for cultivation. Autogenic succession. Autogenic community is the succession progressing entirely as a result of interaction of the organisms and their environment. That is, the driving force in the internal to the community. For example of an autogenic succession on sand dunes. Here you can see an example for the secondary succession. With the passage of time, this particular region undergoes different types of changes until a stable community is established. Energy flow in ecosystem. Energy can be defined as the capacity to do work, whether that work be on gross scale as rising mountains or on a small scale such as transmitting a nerve impulse from one cell to another. There are two kinds of energy basically, potential and kinetic. Potential energy is energy at rest. It is capable and available for work. Kinetic energy is due to motion and results in work. Work that results from the expenditure of energy can be of two kinds as well. These are called, it can store energy as potential energy and it can order matter without storing energy. So in an ecosystem, the flow of energy from producer level to top consumer level is called energy flow, and this energy flow in ecosystem is unidirectional. The energy flow can be explained as the efficiency of the producers in absorption and conversion of solar energy, the use of converted chemical form of energy by the consumers, the total input of energy in form of food and its efficiency of assimilation, the loss caused through respiration, heat excretion, the gross net production. Next, we are going to see about the classifications of ecosystem. Based upon the ecosystem region, it is classified as terrestrial and aquatic. Under terrestrial, there are different kinds of ecosystems such as forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland ecosystem. And under aquatic ecosystem, the different kinds of ecosystem are pond ecosystem, river or stream ecosystem, marine ecosystem, estuarine ecosystem. Forest ecosystem. A forest ecosystem is the one in which a tall and dense tree grow that support many animals and birds. Depending upon the climatic conditions, forests can be classified into tropical rainforests, tropical deciduous forests, tropical scrub forests, temperate rainforests, temperate deciduous forests, coniferous forests. Here we are going to see about the three important types, which are tropical rainforests, temperate deciduous forests, coniferous forests. Tropical rainforest. The tropical rainforest is a hot, moist biome found near Earth's equator. The world's largest tropical rainforests are in South America, Africa and Southeast Asia. Tropical rainforests receive from 60 to 160 inches of precipitation that is fairly evenly distributed throughout the year. The combination of constant warmth and abundant moisture makes the tropical rainforest a suitable environment for many plants and animals. Tropical rainforests contain the greatest biodiversity in the world. Over 15 million species of plants and animals live within this biome. Temperate deciduous forest. A deciduous forest is used to describe a type of forest trees shed their leaves during the cold months of the year and regrow new leaves the next spring. The major characteristic is that it has four distinct seasons. The temperate deciduous forest can be found at eastern third of the North America, Western Europe, China, Korea, Japan and Australia, at the southern tip of South America. Coniferous forest. A coniferous forest contains evergreen trees that bear cones. The vegetation here composed primarily of cone-bearing needle-leaved or evergreen trees found in areas that have long winters and moderate to high annual precipitation. The temperate coniferous forest includes areas such as South America, New Zealand, North America, Northwest Europe and Iceland and southern Japan. The elegant pines grow in this biome along with spruce, fir and tamarack. The structure of the forest ecosystem comprises the following abiotic and biotic components. Next, we are going to see about the grassland ecosystem. Grassland occupies about 20% of the Earth's surface. In addition to grass species, some trees and shrubs are also present. Some of the characteristics of grassland is it is very plain land occupied by grasses, and soil here is very rich in nutrients and organic matter. It is also an ideal place for grazing animals. It is characterized by low and uneven rainfall. A grassland ecosystem can be influenced over time by the local climate, plants, variations in local landscape, disturbances such as fire or floods, the organisms that live in them. There are mainly three types of grasslands. They are tropical grasslands, temperate grasslands, and polar grasslands. The example for tropical grassland is a savanna. An example for temperate grassland is pampas, steppes, and prairies. A tropical grassland has high temperature and moderate rainfall. They have very tall grasses with scatters and shrubs. Temperate grasslands. They are cold in winters and hot in summers. The annual precipitation is less and falls unevenly throughout the year. And polar grasslands. An example for polar grassland is the Arctic polar region. Here, severe cold and strong winds along with ice and snow appears regularly. They have animals like Arctic fox. The structure of the grassland ecosystem consists of the following abiotic and biotic components. Next, we are going to see about the desert ecosystem. It is the region where evaporation exceeds precipitations. It occupies about 35% of our world's land area. Some of the characteristics of the desert ecosystem is the desert air is dry and the climate is very hot. Annual rainfall here in desert is less than 25 centimeter. The soil is very poor in nutrients and organic matter. The vegetation is also very poor. The desert ecosystem is mainly classified as tropical deserts, temperate deserts and cold deserts. The example for a tropical desert is Sahara Desert. An example for a temperate desert is Mojave Desert, and an example for a cold desert is Gobi Desert. The structure of a desert ecosystem consists of the following abiotic and biotic components. Next, we are going to see about water or aquatic ecosystem. An aquatic ecosystem is an ecosystem in a body of water. Communities of organisms that are dependent on each other and on their environment live in aquatic ecosystems. This is mainly divided into two types, which are freshwater ecosystem and saltwater ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem includes ponds, river, stream and lake, and saltwater ecosystem includes oceans and estuaries. First, pond ecosystem. A characteristic of a pond ecosystem is that it is temporary, seasonal and gets polluted easily. The small bodies of fresh water which are shallow and still, marsh and aquatic plants, this consists of the pond ecosystem. They can be further divided into four zones such as vegetation zone, open water, bottom mud and surface film. Next, lake ecosystems. Lake ecosystems can be divided into zones. First, the littoral zone. It is nothing but the shallow zone near the shore where rooted wetland plants can occur. Next one is the offshore zone. Offshore zone is also called as limnatic zones, which is further divided into open water zone and deep water zone. Here, the open water zone, which is the ephotic zone, means here, the sunlight supports the photosynthetic algae and the species that feed upon them. And below that, the deep water zone, which is also called as aphotic zone, the sunlight here is not available and the food web is based on the detritus entering from the littoral and photic zones. And finally, last, the benthic zone is nothing but the bottom sediment. The lake ecosystem is nothing but a shallow freshwater body which is also a permanent water body. It helps with mainly the irrigation and for drinking. The organisms here are classified as planktons, nectons, neustons, benthos and periphotons. Next, river ecosystem. The ecosystem of a river or a stream is viewed as the system operating in a natural environment which includes biotic interactions among plants, animals and microorganisms as well as abiotic components such as physical and chemical interactions. A river system is a prime example for aiotic ecosystem which refers to the flowing of water. The characteristics of a river system is the flow is unidirectional. There is a state of continuous physical change. There is a high degree of spatial and temporal heterogeneity at all scales. Biota is the specialized to live with flow conditions. Next, we are going to see about the estuarine ecosystem. An estuary is a partially enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it and with a free connection to the open sea. Estuaries form a transition zone between river environments and maritime environments and are subject to both marine influences such as tides, waves and in the influx of saline water. The inflows of both seawater and freshwater provide high levels of nutrients in both the water column and sediment, making estuaries among the most productive natural habitats in the world. Some of the characteristics of the estuarine ecosystem are estuaries are in transition zones. The water characteristics are periodically changed. The salinity remains highest during the summer and lowest during the winter, and it is strongly affected by the tidal action. The organisms which are eurythermal and euryhaline present in estuaries show a wide range of tolerance to temperature and salinity. The structure of an aquatic ecosystem consists of the following abiotic and biotic components. And now we have reached the end of this session's topic. I hope it was helpful and productive. Thank you and have a nice day.